officially September. Today is September 1st. This is the opener for a lot of many different things. Particularly today where I'm at, this is the opener for Squirrel. And I'm down here for my 4th annual tradition of Squirrel Camp. I hunted this morning for the opener morning, and for the first time in the past 3-4 years, I got skunked opening morning. Went back to my tried and true spot. No sign of squirrel, no sounds of squirrel at all. So we came back to camp and got the news that my brother, Chinu, actually smoked a bear. So we all came back to camp and dropped off some gear. Going in with light packs. Gonna go find him and pack out a bear.
Yeah, yes, this we do, Daddy. Daddy, I hear that. I hear that, Daddy. Yeah, you just have to squeeze through. You have to squeeze through.
You find it, Josh? Ooh, there's the bear. Michael, what's that?
Bear?
That's a big bear. Okay. It's a bear in the sun.
5 of them.
Gotta drag it down to the creek. There's a big old creek right here, so I can go and wash up. Ooh, that feels good. Here's the bear. It's a nice boar. It's got a nice noggin on him. Good old teeth on that guy. Pretty big head. Pretty tapered body though. And nice sized paw. We are all back at camp. The meat is all done. We're not done, but pretty much processed. We have it laid out on the tables. It's really hot, and so we're trying to air it out so that we can get it like thrown on ice and whatnot. But I haven't shown you guys camp, so I'm gonna walk you guys through really quick. We got a lot of rigs this year. We got a truck here, truck there, 4Runner, truck over there, my truck, and a lot of tents. So I've got my tent right here. We've got tents everywhere, and obviously our shade tents over there. That's our kitchen, and that's our living room, if you will. So my parents came this year, so my parents are sleeping in there, which leaves me all alone. So I decided to test out the Argali Hawaii one-person tent, and I also have the liner in here, which is the mesh stuff, and this is what I slept in. Call this home for the next week, and then I have the shelter on top. Obviously there's an outhouse there. We've got the trailer. I've got my Yeti roadie here. This is the roadie 60, which means it has wheels. My brother towed this trailer, and this trailer is for a lot of stuff such as this, but mainly it's for the ATV. So we do have the ATV, and then this is my rig. I have the Yeti 160 here. Took it off just so that there wasn't stress just sitting on my truck. And then I have my guns from this morning when I went out. Got my 17 here and my 7mm 08 just sitting in the back of the truck here. And then Josh and his wife are here as well for yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And then that's where they're sleeping. We got a lot of people here, so Squirrel Camp, it's usually a lot more quiet because there's only like 4 or 5 of us. Today we've got like 10, and we got kids running around, so kids always light up the atmosphere. Well, everybody is going down to the river to go and wash up. other one's colder.
When it comes to squirrel hunting, especially morning squirrel hunting, one of my favorite parts about it is that you don't have to wake up super early. So the sun's already up high, and squirrels kind of operate like humans. They are active during the daytime. Squirrels nest in trees. They sleep in the tree, and then in the morning when they wake up, they start to go and look for food. And what does that mean? That means that they have to get out of their nest in the trees and eventually get down from the tree. And they typically get out from their nest when the sun starts hitting the treetops and it starts getting warm. It warms up the nest. And that's about when you want to be hunting, because that's when you see the most squirrel activity, if there's any in the area. So even though the sun's high right now, I'm kind of hitting it right around that time where the squirrels should be getting active. I'm gonna head up to this knob. I'm just gonna go sit up here. Squirrel sign has been scarce, so I don't know if we're gonna see anything, but trying a new spot for the season. We've hunted here before, just I haven't hunted this yet. I just got 100% bamboozled by some turkeys. I was about to leave because I've been standing in that spot for about an hour. And right before I left, I heard a squirrel calling up here, I think. And so I ran up here, got close to the knob, and I couldn't see the top of this knob from right there. And I heard like scratching on the leaves. And typically when you hear rustling, that's a squirrel hopping on the ground. Snuck up here thinking I was gonna get to shoot a squirrel, and there was some turkeys. So, I mean, that was cool. It wasn't a complete dead morning. I just was hoping that it was a squirrel so I can actually shoot it. I don't know if I got that on video, but I'm shaking so bad right now. Woo. I don't think I've ever shaken that much on a squirrel before. I had one opportunity and I went to go fire and my safety was on and I couldn't pull the trigger, and I was like, dude, that was my shot. And I was really scared that he was gonna keep going down the tree, because once he goes down lower, like, it's really brushy and I can't see anymore. And once they get on the ground, like, who knows where they're gonna go next? They could just run anywhere. And so as soon as like that mistake went through my head, it's like, my fire is, or my safety is on safe, it's not on fire. Like, that's when I started shaking, because I was like, I might have just messed this up. Squirrels are one of the most frustrating animals to film, because they just don't sit still. And not only do they not sit still, but they are really small. So trying to pick them out in the camera screen, it can be kind of a hassle. So I don't know if I got that shot on video. I just kind of said, I need to break the ice. So that's my first squirrel I shot, and he just dropped. So this is the thing I love about squirrel hunting, is it really is one of the easiest ways to get into hunting, because it's really laid back. It's not necessarily physically intensive, and you can do a squirrel hunt with minimal and inexpensive gear. For example, this is my 17 HMR. This is a Savage B17. I think it was like $200 when I first bought it 6-7 years ago. I have it topped with a Vortex Diamondback 4-12x40, and I'm just shooting some Winchester ammunition here. So this whole set was like $500 maybe, and it's still $500, but $500 in the hunting world, that's relatively inexpensive for an entire combination of a rifle and a scope. So the thing about squirrel hunting, or anytime you shoot an animal in general, is you always want to be aware of where you last seen them go down. So I shot that squirrel in one of these trees right here, so I know it's in this clump of trees because he fell straight down. And so don't lose visual of your direction, because it's easy when you're maneuvering brush like this to be turning around all the time. And then if you don't know where you shot the squirrel, it'd be like, okay, did I shoot the squirrel here, or did I shoot the squirrel over here? Because I've been like turning all sorts of direction. But no matter how much you turn or how many directions you go just to get over there to clear brush, always keep your main vision where that animal last dropped or last seen. Oh, I see gray fur. He dead. Oh man, I don't know what it is about squirrels, man, but I get so amped up walking on a squirrel. Right there. Beautiful squirrel. Thank you, buddy. You don't know how much I appreciate you. I appreciate you a lot. Perfect shot. Right behind the shoulder. That's why they call them Western Grays right here. That big, bushy gray squirrel. You know, the biggest thing about this trip, as you guys have seen so far, is this year, like, I have a lot of my family here at camp, and it's just been really, really awesome to have such a big camp, because we have a lot of faces at camp that normally don't go hunting. You know, like my mom, for example, she's here. I don't remember the last time my mom went hunting. I think the last time I do remember was like when I was like 7 years old or 8 years old, like over 15 years ago or something. I'm probably gonna head back to camp after this guy and go see what everybody else is up to. I'm just so thankful, guys. I can't express enough gratitude right now for how grateful I am to have this squirrel. I'm just glad I didn't choke on the shot.
Want to touch the squirrel? Tail is so fluffy. This is the thing I love about squirrel camp is you have a lot of time to do stuff. So I actually leave to Montana for 2 weeks in 2 weeks. So I'm going in on a backcountry hunt with my bow. First time out of state hunt with a bow going after elk. So I'm pretty stoked about it. So during an off time here, I'm gonna shoot my bow, get some reps in. Shooting a little high. This one's, I'll call that good. Whenever you shoot broadheads, or whenever I shoot broadheads, I never try to group it. And so I always aim for these outside ones so that, you know, I have lower chance of cutting fletchings when I have an arrow sitting in the middle here and I'm trying to shoot around it. So whenever I'm shooting broadheads, now I start shooting these guys so that they're spaced apart so I don't have to ruin my fletchings and have to refletch them or buy new arrows. We have finally found our first fresh sign in terms of feeding areas of the season. Normally it doesn't take much effort. This year it's been way more different. We got fresh powell right here, right there, right there, right over here, right behind me, over here. This is what I'm used to, just pine cone piles. The remnants of these pine cones that these squirrels eat, just almost everywhere. It's been a struggle, but we found one location, so we know there are some squirrels that call this a feeding area, which might come in handy later on the week if they're not using this in the evening, or we might get lucky if we sit here and see one. So this is the first good sign, so I'm gonna find a spot to settle down here and we'll see if something comes walking by. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but my left front tire is leaking. It's pretty darn flat, so I'm gonna swap out this tire with my spare tire. Just yeah, very unfortunate, but we're gonna swap this tire out. I got done replacing my front left tire. So this is the passenger seat, and in the back seat behind the passenger seat, if you fold up the seat, this is your jack. It's right here, and then this bag right here has the little rod to go and fetch the spare tire under the truck, and the rod is also used to leverage the jack so you can pump it up or raise it down or lower it down. And then this is for the bed, which it's not necessary for changing a spare tire. Simply close this, lock that, and then fold your chair back down, and that's where your spare tire changing accessories are. Spare tire is in. Move all this stuff. Got too much stuff with me, or I'm just not a very good organizer. I don't think this road goes much farther, but I'm gonna pack really, really light and just walk around, see if I can't come across some squirrels, and then just make my way back to the truck.
turn around this corner, I look in the trees, I saw a squirrel hopping around, and I thought I spooked it, so I was trying to be really, really quiet. Well, it turns out he wasn't spooked. He was actually just hopping from tree to tree because it was feeding around. And he was right in this tree, but from my angle, I couldn't get a good shot, and I could just tell through the binos that he was feeding, like kind of quartering away like this, more like angled like this on a tree limb. So I'm like, I'm just gonna shoot him quartering away because I don't have any other shot. If he takes off, like, he's gone. There you go. This one's a good one. This is bigger than my squirrel yesterday. I'm making my way back to camp now because I forgot to bring my food and I'm really hungry. And I turn around that corner, there's a black bear off to the side of the road just looking at me. I thought it was a sow and a cub, but that little guy just came back and stared at me. I never saw mama bear, so it might just be a cub that had recently become independent. And I just looked at him for a little bit. He was a little curious, but then he just dipped off into the side of the road. Just not the way I want to shoot a bear, and he was honestly a little bit too small, so I didn't even bother to go after him. That's cool. We've seen deer, we've seen turkey, we've seen bear, we've seen squirrel and turkey, if I haven't mentioned that already. So there's a lot of animals around here for sure. Just driving around for the most part.